Um, for the next couple of videos, I want to talk about nested loops. And through those videos, I will talk about and use a keyword that is called AND. So before getting to those examples, I want to explain what this AND keyword does and how we can use it. So remember with any print function, so if I have print, for instance, hello, and then I have another print, um, and if I have word, if I run this code, I will see hello in one line and word in the next line. Why? Because with print function, you always go inside the parentheses. You print all the items that you have here. So if you have one item, you print it. If you have multiple items, you print them. And then after you're done printing everything inside the parentheses, you go to the next line. So by default, at the end of each print function, you have the new line character. So you go to the next line. So if, for instance, I have an empty print function, you don't have anything to print, so you only print a blank line for that. So if I run this code, you're going to see hello, blank line, and then word. So here you go. All right. So that is the way that print function is set by default. In Python, sometimes you can change that default setting if you want to. Sometimes you do not want to see that new line character. You want to stay in the same line, but you have to have separate print function. So there should be a way that helps you to prevent that new line character. And of course it is. You can change that default setting by use of AND keyword. Okay, now let's see how we can do it. So I'm going to take this extra AND extra print function out. So we still have it everything in two different lines. So again, in print function, you go about whatever is inside, and then if you don't specify how to end that print function, it's going to print a new line character for you. All right. But if you want, you can specify exactly how you want the print function to end. All right, so I can say, all right, I do not want you to have a new line character at the end. I want you to just have a space and stay in that same line. Okay, so if I do that now, if I run it, I'm going to see hello word in same line, because after I printed hello, I forced print to not go to the next line. I forced it to end with a space. Okay, so you can force it to end with an empty. So then you will have both of those string glued to each other, like attached to each other when you're printing them. Okay, let's have another example. Let's say I want to print the first 5 numbers. Okay, I go and say, okay, for I in range of 5, then I have numbers from 0 to 4, because if you just include the end value, by default the start value is going to be 0 and the step going to be 1. So for that, I'm going to say, all right, just print the value of I. So if I run it, I'm going to say 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. But let's say I do not want to see them in separate line. I want to see all of them in one single line. How can I do that? Easily, you can include AND after you print your object. So you say ended with a space, for instance. Then if I run it, every time that you're printing I, instead of going to the next line, you're going to just include a space. So if I do that, all of those numbers are going to show up in the same line. Okay, so you can, for instance, add dash if you want to. Then you see the item dash your number dash until you get to your last item. Okay, so it's like a short, very easy description about what this AND does. And remember, if you have multiple items inside your print, you must have only one AND at the very, like, that should be your last argument. You cannot have multiple ANDs inside the print function. All right, so I see you for the next video.